welcome to my channel. Today I'll be talking about my OCs and their lore again, but this time I'll be going in depth about everything to do with them, and I'll be introducing them and going into more detail. So the name of our story is Killing Butterflies, and there are already like 10 chapters on Wattpad, but I'm kind of redoing those 10 chapters, so please don't freak out if you read it and it does not make sense. I'm working on it. I've already introduced the story like multiple times. I don't know how many times I've done this to many different people on many different platforms, but anyway, the story follows these 5 siblings who live in a post-war world, and their dad owns this big organization that opposes the government and stuff because their people are like getting oppressed and stuff. Let's meet our first main characters, or like the first main 5 characters of the story. This is Camus van Helster. He's the oldest and he's 30 years old, and he's basically like the protector for his siblings, because their dad is like super evil and he doesn't want anything bad to happen to his siblings, or like for them to like lose their innocence, because he's been through that. His childhood was taken away from him because his father was so obsessed with New Age and bringing down the New Age government. Camus is very confident and he's very skilled in various weapons because, his dad taught him how to wield different weapons ever since he was a child. So he is very confident in his skills and his ability to protect his siblings, but sometimes, he screws them over instead. He kind of has a little bit of an issue with his mental state because he feels like no matter how hard he tries to keep everybody safe, he just ends up hurting them sometimes, and he thinks that the rest of the siblings hate him, and he doesn't want to be hated by his siblings. This is Atticus, and he's the second born, and he's 29. He's also the only one that's married. He has a wife whose name is Jennifer, and a son whose name is Toby. So Atticus is like basically the good one, if that makes sense, out of the 3 oldest siblings, because he doesn't really cause any problems and he just follows his father's orders. He's also quiet. He doesn't really talk about his feelings much, but he's more like the therapist of the 5, unlike Knox, who I'll talk about later, who's just quiet and doesn't care about anybody. Atticus is a big overthinker, and he doesn't really worry, but he does overthink a lot. And also, he has very high morals, or like high moral standing or standard. But sometimes he breaks his own morals, which causes him to spiral sometimes, and he likes to bottle up his emotions a lot, so he doesn't really talk about it or let it out, which causes him to lash out sometimes when he gets pushed to the extreme. And a way that he breaks his morals, I guess, like one important moral that he has is not to use people, because his father uses people to achieve what he wants, or like his goals, and Atticus doesn't want to be that kind of person. But then again, he did marry married Jennifer, but she didn't really like at all. And he was like, okay, well, it's convenient for me since I have this big secret that is threatening to be exposed, and I can't afford to expose it. So that's the only reason why he married her. And every day he feels guilty for, that decision. This is Atlas. She is the third born, the only girl in the family, and she's 26. She's a rebellious person. She doesn't follow any of her father's orders, which makes him super, super mad at her every single time. But even though she's like very rebellious, she's also very nice and cares about all the siblings. She always tells them to tell her if anything is going on, and she's a big worrier. She worries so much about everybody, like any change of emotion or like change of behavior rather in either Camus or Atticus or Nox or Tamicus. She'll be like, oh, is something wrong, like, talk to me. But sometimes they don't talk to her, which she gets annoyed at them for. But yeah, she really wants everybody to be close and everybody to get along. She doesn't want anyone to fight with each other and stuff. But she's supposed to be in college or university, but she doesn't want to go because she wants to pursue acting, but her father wants her to do business instead, so she's rebelling against him by not going at all. He's very close with Tamicus and Camus to an extent because they do jobs together, because sometimes their father gives them a job to do or like a mission and they would go together. But she's mostly closer to Tamicus or she's the closest to Tamicus, if I can say it like that rather, because she's the only one that pays attention to him or like has an interest in his hobbies or anything, because the others they either are too busy or they don't care. This is Nox. He's 18 and he is kind of like the main character, if that makes sense. His story kind of revolves around him, but the others are also main characters. Does that make sense? I don't know if that makes sense. Anyways, he is probably the most rebellious out of all 5 of them, but it's not even out of spite. He just cannot be bothered to listen to any adults at all, because in his eyes they don't know or they're not reliable, rather they're not reliable, and clearly they don't know how to take care of children or how to advise children, so he does not want to listen to anything they have to say. He's also like the most secluded and he's the quietest. Yeah, like what I was saying earlier, between him and Atticus, they are the most reserved ones, but Nox is just detached, or how can I say this? He's withdrawn from them, whereas Atticus still cares about them in a way, but Nox just does not. He does not want to waste his emotions on people because he's been hurt already before, because he let himself feel emotions. So now he's just not gonna do that anymore. This is Tamikis. He's 13 or 14. I didn't yet decide. He's probably like transitioning into 14, if that makes sense. And he is the youngest. He is also the only child of Mr. Van Hilster, or Kane Van Hilster, that's his name, the father's name, and his current wife, because the previous 4 kids are from his first wife, and Tamikis is from his second wife. So, obviously, because now Kane or Mr. Van Hilster, their dad, is like married to this new woman, he's kind of treating Tamikis slightly different from his other kids, if that makes sense. So instead of he still does want to put Tamikis in the organization, which is called Border. That's the name of the organization. He still wants Tamikis to join Border, but I guess he made a deal with Camus to leave the other kids alone. But he always threatens that he's going to make that happen for Camus to stay in line. So he still wants to use this poor child, but he is also like interested in his life and interested in his hobbies. So Tamikis feels like their dad isn't as scary or evil as the other kids are making him out to be. It started raining, so I don't know if you guys can hear me properly, but Tamikis is an innocent boy, and he's not really like confident in himself. Obviously, he has a bit of anxiety and insecurities, especially since he's different from all the other kids, since they are all related, but he's like half sibling, and he's also kind of ostracized, obviously, other than Atlas, who's literally the only person he can have a proper conversation with. The others kind of ostracize him, but not really. Camus is just way too preoccupied with other stuff and with his goal of protection, and Atticus is he's just not okay. He's in his own world, kind of. Not really. He's just too much in his head, I guess. It's not like he doesn't notice that other people are going through problems, and since he is the therapist, he does deal with a lot of their issues, but I guess he does not really have the time to focus on Tamikis and nurture him or like raise him in a way, if that makes sense, because he's been raising Atlas and Nox alongside Camus for their whole lives, because their parents are kind of incompetent. But anyways, Atlas, obviously she's now the one that is interested in his hobbies and paying attention to him, but Nox just hates this poor child with a passion, with a very strong passion. He hates this kid so much, and it's so unwarranted. His hatred is unwarranted, and he's the one that's doing the ostracizing. He doesn't talk to him. He doesn't want to associate with him at all. He doesn't want to even see him. Like, even just looking at Tamikis annoys Nox so much. And the thing is, Tamikis really wants Nox to like him, because they're closer in age, and he kind of looks up to Knox because Knox is like way smarter than him, and he just sees Knox as way better, so he looks up to him and wants to be like him. But Knox is just hating on him every single day of his life. This kid is hating on Tamicus. Anyway, um, so Tamicus is just, he's like, I don't know how to explain it, but he's just a little innocent, quirky guy, I guess. Because, he likes bugs and comics and planes and very niche things. Well, according to the time that we're in, it's very niche. But, he just likes these things, and that's just who he is. He's just a goofy little kid. He's just a child. He's a child, like all children. Yeah, that's what he said. Even though he has his own anxieties and stuff, he's still very much a child. He still has his innocence with him. So that's the one character I didn't ruin. Yay! Anyway, those are the 5 main characters that we just went through and that I just introduced. This video is getting really long, so I'm gonna end here, but I do want to talk about the side characters and obviously their father and the relationships that they have, because they all have love interests, probably. I hope you enjoyed the art and the speed paint or speed draw. I don't know what to call it. But anyways, thanks for watching this video. Thanks for listening to me ramble on and on about these characters. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!